Hello, my name is Don Kwan. I'm a queer third-generation Chinese-Canadian multidisciplinary artist, community builder, and community stakeholder. I have very deep connections to the history of Ottawa's Chinatown. My family owns and operates the Shanghai restaurant, celebrating 50 years in operation since 1971. My family's restaurant opened in 1971 by my grandparents, my mother, my father, my aunts, and my uncles. So Chinatown's official tagline is a multicultural village with an Asian flair. So being born and raised in Chinatown, living and working in Chinatown for all those years, I have had a chance to really connect with and work alongside like different levels of the community and with different members within the community. I've had the opportunity to organize events like the Chinatown Remix Art Festival, Festive Asia, Chinatown Craft Market, the Chinatown Night Markets, and currently to this day, I still continue to host like guided walking tours of Chinatown that not just explore the people and the cultures of the neighborhood, but also examine the history and the architecture of Chinatown.
Hi, I'm Andrew O'Malley, an artist living and practicing in Ottawa for the past 20 years. My primary medium is lighting, which I combine with custom sculptural elements, installations, and fixtures. I've been involved in several public art projects, from consulting on design and lighting, all the way to managing the entire project from start to finish. You can see some of this work around Ottawa at the Bronson Centre, the Ottawa Art Gallery, and Lansdowne Stadium. As for Chinatown, over the years, I've been involved with the art scene here. I've participated alongside Don in a lot of the festivals that he mentioned. And in fact, my very first art exhibition in Ottawa was at the Shanghai restaurant.
Catching the Wind is an LED-based lighting sculpture proposal for Cambridge Street North Public Art Project. This site connects one of Ottawa's most culturally diverse commercial communities with the surrounding residents of Cambridge Street North. Catching the Wind is inspired by its surroundings, the diverse cultures and the multitude of voices within Chinatown and the surrounding area. So throughout my history with Chinatown, I found, like, despite some of our differences, we all still share a lot of similarities, particularly the use of fans and how different cultures incorporate fans into their heritage, into their culture, and into their performances. The tall pole structures mimic a simplified bamboo clearing atop the hill towards Cambridge Street and Somerset Street, where the residential area meets the hustle and bustle of Somerset's commercial district. So from a distance, the fans take on a leaf-like pattern blowing in the wind. But upon closer inspection or walking up the hill towards the sculpture, the fans reveal themselves to be custom stenciled cutouts. The cutout designs on each fan represent simplified cloud formations that hint to patterns of flow and patterns of wind that are not only found in Chinese cultures, but other cultures, including Korean, Vietnamese, and even contemporary North and South American cultures.
In our sculpture, Catching the Wind, we wanted to reflect and complement the aesthetic and the imagery already found in Chinatown. As Don mentioned, fans are very prevalent in the many cultures that exist, live, and work and play in Chinatown. So it seemed a natural fit for us to incorporate those in our sculpture. Because the site is so thin, it lent itself to some sort of elevated work, which is how we arrived at the poles. And to escape just a flagpole or utility look, we decided we were going to go with a bamboo type looking pole. So the poles we're using will have some embellishments welded on to give them more of a bamboo look or texture. While we explored various color combinations, we ultimately arrived at red. It's a very prominent color already in the neighborhood, and it has a lot of deep meanings, as I'll let Don speak to.
In our sculpture, Catching the Wind, red is our color of choice because red in many cultures, red symbolizes prosperity, red symbolizes strength, red represents vitality, rebirth, and most importantly, red represents luck.
While the sculptural elements of Catching the Wind are a complete work unto themselves, we further propose a lighting component to animate the sculpture in the evening. This will be achieved with 2 lamps attached to a custom lamppost installed adjacent the existing lamppost. We will use gobo lights, which allow the placement of a very controlled spotlight or other shape at the base of the sculpture. This will not leak or spill onto any of the adjacent properties. For programming, we're going to use a soft color palette with gently shifting patterns between the 2 sides. When the colors are varying, it represents the diversity within the community. And when the colors come into phase with each other, that represents the community as a whole coming together. The gently shifting colors also enforce the ideas of movement and wind, which we are imparting with our sculpture, Catching the Wind. From a design and fabrication standpoint, the artwork makes use of straightforward materials and structural elements. We've consulted with multiple fabricators with extensive experience in permanent outdoor public art. They've vetted the design and budget for the feasibility to produce the artwork faithfully according to our renderings and within the allotted budget. The use of industry standard materials and fabrication techniques ensures there won't be any surprises during production and installation of the artwork. This approach and design also addresses another important consideration.
One of our concerns was safety, especially since there are children and seniors nearby. Because of our harsh winters and our past experiences with ice storms, we wanted to create a sculpture that didn't have something that you didn't have to walk underneath. We wanted to avoid potential ice and snow buildup that may potentially cause falling ice or snow on passersby and pedestrians.
The vertical nature of our design also does not lend itself to climbing and ensures all clearances are met around the sidewalk, bike path, and especially the road. Since nothing is encroaching over the roadway, all current and future vehicle clearances will be maintained.
We are pleased to have received lots of positive public feedback from the community on our design. 2022 is a year of celebration. It'll be 100 years since my family settled here in Canada. Much of the celebration will be around my family's legacy as community stakeholders, cultural contributors, and community builders, basically for the past 50 years since the inception of Chinatown on Somerset Street. And as a third-generation Chinese Canadian and visual artist, I'm very grateful for this opportunity and confident our design will reflect the uniqueness of the area. Both Andrew and I look forward to continuing contributing to this community with our public art project, Catching the Wind.
We'd like to thank the selection committee for your time and attention to our proposal. We look forward to elaborating on the project and addressing any concerns or questions you may have. Thank you.